Hey cookies, welcome to my channel and let's get into these beef birria tacos that I made. So I'm going to go ahead and cut up my chuck roast. You can use chuck roast or short rib if you would like. But if you get chuck roast, make sure that you get some with some type of marbling. Not too much fat, but just enough because the fat is going to add some type of flavor. So I'm just cutting these into small cuts. And then I'm going to go ahead and season my chuck roast with just some kosher salt. Now you want to make sure you're being super generous with this salt, because if not, it won't get a nice crust as you're searing it on both sides. So you want to make sure you're super generous with the kosher salt. Now, if you want, you can use regular sea salt, but kosher salt just works better. So I'm going to go ahead and pat this in really well. And I'm going to go ahead and season the other side of my chuck roast as well. Now to make my consomme, I am using some arbol peppers, ancho peppers, and I'm not sure how you pronounce the third pepper, but I will put it in the description box below. But you want to make sure you go ahead and get all of the seeds out of these peppers. So you're going to deseed them. I did take a kitchen knife and cut the tip and then cut along the side so I can get all of the seeds out. Now, these peppers that I'm deseeding right now are my arbol peppers, and these are super spicy, so I am using a glove to deseed them. Make sure that you do not wipe your face at all because your eyes will be burning. So I use just a few of these because I don't like a lot of spice, but you just want the perfect hit. Lord Jesus. You just want the perfect hint of those arbol peppers. Now I did add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm just going to saute all my peppers after I deseed them and make sure they're nice and fragrant. And when they get nice and fragrant, we're going to cut the heat. So I sauteed my peppers for about 2 minutes on low medium heat. So after my peppers have got nice and fragrant, I am just adding them to a pot of water. I didn't really use specific measurements for the water, but we're just going to go ahead and bring these peppers to a boil and allow our peppers to steep for about 5 to 10 minutes, just so they can get nice and hydrated. Now, I am using the same pan that I cooked my peppers in and going ahead and adding my roast back in so I can sear both sides. So I seared my meat for about 3 minutes on each side on medium heat. So your meat should look like this once that's done searing. So to my pan, after I remove my chuck roast, I am using about 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, along with 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm just eyeballing it. This is probably a little bit more than 2 tablespoons, probably like 2 tablespoons, well no, 3 tablespoons. And then after that is done, I did not have any fresh garlic cloves. So I'm going to go ahead and use minced garlic along with a pack of diced white onion. It doesn't really matter if you use a whole onion or diced onion, because we're going to go ahead and blend all these ingredients once they are mixed and combined together. And I am taking about 2 tablespoons of minced garlic. Now we're going to go ahead and add the juice of 1 lime. Just make sure you squeeze really well. So So now we're just gonna go ahead and give this a good stir. So once everything is nice and combined, it should look like this. And I'm just gonna go ahead and add 1 cup of the water that we boiled our peppers in earlier. I'm just adding that to this pan to make our consomme. And now after you added your 1 cup of water from the boiling peppers, we're gonna go ahead and add some of the peppers that were boiled in that pot. So now we're gonna go ahead and stir this up very well, and we're gonna go ahead and season our consomme dip. So I am adding about 2 tablespoons of adobo all-purpose seasoning and about 2 tablespoons of ground cumin. And now I'm going to go ahead and add about a tablespoon of some oregano. And I did go ahead and add just a little bit more all-purpose seasoning by adobo. And then I am going to go ahead and add just about a tablespoon and a half of this chicken bouillon powder. And then I'm just giving this a nice stir once before we add it to our blender. So once we added that to our blender and blended everything, we're just going to go ahead and add our meat back. And now we're just going to go ahead and add that consomme on top of our beef, which is our chuck roast. And make sure we pour all of it in the pot. And now here I am adding a half a container of beef stock to my pot. You want to make sure you stir this in really good. And we're going to go ahead and add about 2 bay leaves along with about 3 to 4 sprigs of thyme to our pot. And we're going to cook this on low for about 4 to 5 hours. Just until it's fork tender. Now mind you, you will have to add more liquid within that 4 to 5 hours. So if you have more beef stock, you can add that, or you can add water to stretch your liquids. Because one thing you don't want to do, you do not want this to burn out, because that will be an epic fail. And you need the consomme dip to make your tortillas and also have something to dip your birria tacos in. So like I said, we are using 2 bay leaves and also about 3 to 4 sprigs of thyme. I did add just a little bit more of adobo seasoning and 1 cinnamon. Now that my meat is done cooking, it's been about 4.5 hours. It's nice and fork tender, as you can see. I am super excited. This is my first time making birria tacos as well. These were actually really good. But I must say, I will be doing it again with this recipe. I really enjoyed it. Now, is it very time consuming? Yes, but hey, anybody can do it. So like I said, it is nice and fork tender. And I'm just going to go ahead and separate this with 2 forks, as you can see here, just pulling the meat apart, and we'll be right back. And now I am going to add some corn tortillas to my pan. The pan was already on low heat. I don't want to burn these tortillas because they are corn tortillas. And normally corn is easy to burn. And on top of that, they fall apart easy. So I had to go around and find out which tortillas were best to cook. I did use Google as my source, and I will go ahead and put that in the description box as well below. But here I am adding some Mexican cheese, and I'm going to layer that first. And then I am going to take my chuck roast that's already pulled apart and put on top of the cheese. So it did take me a while to get my tortillas nice and crispy, about 3 minutes on each side. But just make sure you are watching it so you do not burn your tortillas. To each its own. But this one kind of gave me a hard time, but the finished product came out nice and amazing. Everybody loved them. As you can see here, moment of transparency, this one broke on me, but this was the finished product of my birria tacos with the consomme dip. A 10 out of 10. Why go pay a restaurant $25 when you can make it on your own? And please like and subscribe to my channel and comment below what you guys think if you do use this recipe, and we will chat soon.